efforts to release captive-bred northern spotted owls into the wild have failed. The northern spotted owl breeding program raises captive-bred owls in a Langley facility, eventually sets them free into protected areas. But as I mentioned, all 6 of the owls that were released into the wild since 2022, they've died, and wildlife advocates say that there's a new ski resort proposal in Chilliwack that could further threaten their habitat. With us today is Joe Foy. Joe is one of the advocates. He is the Protected Areas campaigner for the Wilderness Committee. Joe, good to see you. Thank you for coming in.
Well, good to see you, Gloria.
So tell us more about this northern spotted owl breeding program and why it's necessary.
Well, the breeding program is necessary because spotted owl numbers have been dropping quite sharply for the last number of decades because of industrial logging. In 2007, it got to a point where none of the young that were fledging from the nests were surviving. And so the extraordinary decision to start capturing the remaining spotted owls to see if the provincial biologists could create the first ever spotted owl facility to breed and get little baby spotted owl chicks, and they've succeeded at that. They've actually got now over 30 spotted owls in the facility at Fort Langley, so they've made great progress there. But what they have, the nut they haven't cracked, is how to get spotted owls that they've released in the wild to survive through the winter, essentially. And that's the barrier they're now facing.
Okay. Well, what do you think happened with these 6 spotted owls that were released?
Well, I tell you, I work for the Wilderness Committee. We have our hands full in battling to hold on to the critical habitat that these owls will need. We don't know. It's not our expertise. We don't know what they're running into. We advocate for increased funding, more support for the program. We support it. It's our great hope, but we really are in the hands of the biologists, and we have faith in the biologists.
Okay, so the biologists hopefully will help to improve their survival rate once they are released. Let's talk about other things on the horizon. The Bridal Veil Mountain Resort. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I think it's a good example of how the provincial government has failed to defend even the most basic spotted owl habitat. There's a wildlife habitat area up there, an area of several thousand hectares that had been set aside in 2011 as spotted owl habitat. But a private group has proposed a ski resort, which now overlaps with this habitat. We've entered into a public comment period. And the shocking thing is the provincial government hasn't provided any information to the public that this ski resort proposal is sitting on presumably protected spotted owl habitat. And that's a bad signal, especially at this when we're in such a critical moment in the survival of this species.
Okay, so the public is welcome to weigh in on this until the end of the month?
Absolutely. Until the end of February, the public comment period is open, and we encourage people to go on to the site. You can learn a lot from their site, but you will not learn that this thing is proposed to be on top of protected spotted owl habitat.
What are you hoping the province does about this?
Cancel it and tell the people why they've canceled it. It has no business being on protected spotted owl habitat. Now, I should say it's a very unpopular proposal. There's Cham First Nation and other nations are strongly opposed to the thing. The Chilliwack City, Kent District, all have put in letters of opposition. Outdoor recreationists, ton of folks. In fact, I haven't actually seen a letter of support for the project other than the proponents. It's probably out there. I just haven't found it. So very, very unpopular. But landing on such a critically endangered species habitat, this thing needs to be stopped.
Is there a precedent for something like this, Joe? Another animal where they've stopped a development project, that type of thing, protected an area because an animal was in danger, spotted owl or otherwise?
I'm going to say that we are in unprecedented times. I was born in these parts. We've never been in a place where we're staring down the barrel of extinctions out of our country. Mountain caribou, spotted owl, local populations of marbled murrelet, runs of salmon. It's never been this bad. So we're walking on new ground. And that's why it's shocking that the provincial government hasn't grokked on this and stepped up and put an end to this thing quickly. It's the times we're living in requires quick and determined action to stop this multi-species slide towards extinction.
I see. And this is the only place these northern spotted owls live? Do they live in the States at all?
They do. So in Canada, the spotted owl range is the place where they live. Now, when I say they, we know of one wild-born spotted owl surviving on the landscape. So the habitat for the spotted owl exists from Lillooet to the U.S. border and Manning Park to the coast, but that habitat extends all the way down sort of the coastal ranges all the way down to Northern California. So there's a hope that we may get spotted owls moving up from the States if we hold on to the habitat. There may be other spotted owls in BC, in southwest BC, that we haven't found yet, and they may survive if we hold on to the habitat. And our captive breeding program may work if we hold on to the habitat. So when we see the ski resort landing on a piece of protected habitat, that's a problem.
Let's hold on to that hope for now. Joe, thank you very much for coming in.
Well, thanks for giving me the opportunity.
That's Joe Foy, Protected Areas Campaigner for the Wilderness Committee. We're talking about the northern spotted owl in British Columbia.